Valley's leading news program with meteorologist Adam Joseph, Christy Aletto, Sarah Bloomquist, and Brian Taft.
Right now at 4 o'clock, a major hurricane bearing down on Florida. Helene is now a Category 3 storm, packing winds up to 120 miles an hour. Millions are in its path today, and those who did not evacuate yet are running out of time to get out or hunker down. It is Thursday afternoon. I'm Brian Taft.
And I'm Sarah Bloomquist. The big story on Action News is Hurricane Helene exploding in strength over the Gulf of Mexico. The storm is expected to make landfall later this evening, but the effects are already being felt. ABC's
Ike Ajacci live in Tallahassee now, where conditions will get worse as night approaches. Ike.
That's right. The entire state of Florida is under some kind of hurricane or tropical storm watch. Also, 5 states are under states of emergency as Helene moves closer to the Gulf Coast.
Rain pouring down and waves crashing as Hurricane Helene approaches Florida's Gulf Coast. Millions of people are under mandatory evacuation orders in the Sunshine State, but the storm's impact is expected to stretch across several states.
And so I need everybody to pay attention to their local officials. They're going to have the best information on the specific risks where you are at.
The eye of the massive storm seen here. Helene forecast to make landfall Thursday night. Areas along the Big Bend region of Florida could see a storm surge of up to 20 feet. Phil Prescott lives in Cedar Key. He says many residents have heeded the evacuation warnings.
The fear factor is pretty significant. So the good news is more than ever, people have left.
Tens of thousands of customers have already lost electricity. Crews on hand to get the power back on. Torrential rains and strong winds from Helene pummeled Naples overnight. Streets there now underwater. Similar scenes in St. Petersburg. And in Tampa, high waves from the bay crashing onto this roadway. The traffic cam shaking violently in the strong winds. The area could see a storm surge of up to 8 feet.
We're now just a few hours away from expected landfall, not far from here in Tallahassee, and conditions continue to get worse as the day goes on, getting bands of heavy rain and strong winds. Rob and Sarah, back to you.
All right, Ike, thank you. For more on the storm, we turn to meteorologist Adam Joseph live over in the Weather Center tracking it for us.
Adam, this thing is a monster.
It is, and it continues to strengthen as we go through the afternoon hours, and that's going to be the case until it makes landfall and expected to stay as a Category 3 storm, if not maybe even trying to get close to a Category 4. It's over very warm waters right now, and in fact, we take a look at the visible satellite imagery. This is a 1-minute loop, so every minute it updates, and you can see the structure of this storm, the towering thunderstorms, and the eye has really started to form there in the center of it. Winds are at 120 miles an hour with this hurricane at this hour, continuing to lift to the north and east. And with that being said, the eastern side of a hurricane is the most dangerous part of the storm because you've got the winds that are coming in from the southwest and then turning to the northwest. So you get that circular motion to create tornado watches. We have tornado watches from South Carolina all the way down through the entire state of Florida. The latest update moving right now to the north-northeast. It's picking up steam at 21 miles an hour, landing late this evening in the Big Bend area as a Category 3 of winds of 120 miles an hour, and then it hooks to the left over the Tennessee Valley where it falls apart there, but we'll get a little moisture out of this locally as well. Winds are going to be gusting 113 in Cedar Key, and the big factor here, we've been always talking about this, the storm surge up to 20 feet in the Big Bend area. That is 2 stories high. They're calling that unsurvivable in those locations. And even as it continues to lift inland during the day tomorrow, we're looking at winds close to hurricane force with the gusts, even as far as Georgia and northern parts of Alabama and as well as South Carolina. We'll chat more about how this impacts our local forecast, guys, coming up in that full accurate forecast in a little bit.
Yeah, it is an impressive storm for sure. Adam, thank you. Helene is impacting travelers here at home. Our crews caught up with people at the airport whose plans have been altered because of the storm. That includes some Eagles fans who are heading down to Tampa ahead of the game against the Buccaneers on Sunday. We'll hear from them coming up in live reports at 5 and again at 6. We will continue to track Hurricane Helene as it gets closer to making landfall this evening. Be sure then to join us on Action News Mornings for the latest damage reports coming out of Florida.
Other news here today. A deadly shooting has neighbors rattled in one South Jersey community. It happened last night at a home in Runnymede. Authorities still searching for the shooter right now. New Jersey correspondent Trish Hartman now live in Runnymede this afternoon with details and reaction. Trish.
Well, Brian, this happened in what neighbors describe as a very quiet and safe neighborhood typically. Then around 6 p.m., gunshots rang out. Police say one man was killed.
I put the dogs out, and as soon as I opened up the door, that's when I heard it, the rapid fire, and dogs came running right back in. It
was around 6 p.m. Wednesday evening when police were called to Forest Avenue in Runnymede for a report of a shooting.
Gunshot wound, BLS 9, virtual ALS.
The action cam was on the scene last night as officers were investigating the property of this home on Forest Avenue. Neighbors tell us it's not unusual for families to be outside in the evening and even setting off fireworks, so that's what they initially thought was happening.
I thought it was fireworks going off, it like cut two, and then I said, no, it went da-da-da-da, and I says, oh, that's gunshots.
Investigators were back in the neighborhood today. The Camden County Prosecutor's Office has not released details about what led up to the shooting. They have identified the victim as 38-year-old Neville Molyneux of Blackwood. He was transported to Cooper University Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. This morning, Runnymede police released a statement saying the public is not in any danger. Still, neighbors are alarmed by the shooting.
We always thought Runnymede was a really quiet town. And, you know, when this happens now, it makes it kind of questionable.
It's getting scary. I said, now you have to close and lock everything, your doors and everything.
Now, no arrests have been made and no word on any suspects. Anyone with any information is asked to contact the Camden County Prosecutor's Office or Runnymede Police. We're live in Runnymede, New Jersey. Trish Hartman, Channel 6, Action News. Brian.
Okay, Trish, thank you. A Montgomery County man is now facing charges after his son accidentally shot himself earlier this year. 34-year-old Luis Marin of Pottstown is charged with endangering the welfare of a child and reckless endangerment for that incident back in May. Authorities say he left a loaded gun unsecured on his bed, and Marin's 2-year-old son then got a hold of that weapon and shot himself. The child was seriously hurt but did survive that shooting.
The Philadelphia District Attorney's Office updated the progress in identifying those involved in a series of dangerous car meetups over the weekend. At a news conference, they announced the arrest of 25-year-old Deontay Vincent of Philadelphia for allegedly attempting to strike 2 police officers with his vehicle in Northeast Philadelphia. Overnight, Saturday into Sunday, hundreds of people and dozens of cars were involved in spinouts at 11 major intersections across the city. Police are asking for the public's help in identifying others who were involved.
Independence Blue Cross announced a major expansion today of a pioneering mental health initiative. The insurance giant says it'll triple the number of Philadelphia school students who could benefit from in-school care. The initiative began in 2021 with Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in recognition of the high rates of trauma students in the district face. Organizers say students who get mental health services in school are 6 times more likely to continue their treatment than those who get it elsewhere.
Well, time now for your Action News traffic report on a Thursday afternoon.
All right, Jessica Boynton live in the traffic center with the first check here today. Hey, Jessica.
Hi, Brian and Sarah, and hey, everyone. Happy Thursday. Heading out the door right now if you're on the Schuylkill Expressway. No shock, we have a problem there already, but it's a minor one, so at least that's good. If you're heading out the door westbound, watch for a disabled vehicle. It's just at a view of our camera right in here, so as you can see, we are seeing some westbound delay, but we can't see where that disabled vehicle is. Either way, we would see some westbound delay heading towards Center City and the Vine Street Expressway anyway. So it's backing up past this point, past South and all the way down towards South Philadelphia. So the westbound Schuylkill, a little hairy. This drive time is actually a little out of range of where that incident is, but either way, drive times are... We were into the 60-minute mark by this time already, so this is at least doing a little bit better than that. Schuylkill east or west, about the same trip, 35, 36 minutes from the Blue Route to the Vine Street Expressway. So we're watching that for you. If you're out in Collingswood, I'm hearing it's 2 left lanes blocked on 130 southbound, so that's going to create a big gridlock situation. On the southbound side, right around the White Horse Pike, which is a heavily trafficked area, especially right now, so we're seeing some big delays if you're moving on that southbound side, really, or northbound side if you take a look at our maps. Everything looks bright red, all moving through that area. area. If you're out on 22 moving through Allentown, watch westbound right around 145. Of course, it looks a little bit better now because that westbound accident is off into the right-hand shoulder. Brian and Sarah, back over to you.
All right, Jessica, thank you. We can't see you here. You're in a different part of this beautiful new room. Today is a big day for us at Channel 6. We are broadcasting from a brand new state-of-the-art studio.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this. It's been in the works for more than a year, and we are thrilled for you to experience it with us. This space is bigger, better, bolder. It allows us to showcase our storytelling in new ways that will also improve the viewing experience for everybody at home.
Look at how these cameras move. They're all over the place. Over the coming days, we'll continue to show more of this incredibly impressive space. We love it. We've been waiting a long time, and we're deeply grateful to the huge team of people that put this together. We hope you love it as much as we do.
Still to come here on Action News at 4, a new group is speaking out against the plans to build a new 76ers arena in Center City. Find out why members of the LGBTQ community are now rallying against 76 Place.
And New York City's mayor facing federal charges now, what was revealed in a sweeping indictment unsealed early this morning.
76 Place now has a new set of opponents, members of Philadelphia's LGBTQ community. They rallied against the Center City Arena plans today. Action News reporter Taronda Thomas is live at City Hall. Taronda, the issue now in the hands of the city council member who represents that district.
Yes, Sarah, and a growing number of people are speaking up to let him and other city leaders know they are against it.
Today, we are petitioning City Council to oppose 76 Place.
Speaking at City Hall against the proposed 76ers arena in Center City, the project has always gotten pushback from Chinatown, but now another neighborhood is raising concern.
We are claiming space in the neighborhood. We do not want to be pushed out again.
Worried that the project's proximity to the neighborhood will create gentrification, make the area unaffordable, and take away queer and safe spaces.
An arena made by and for billionaires won't be economic catalyst for community and people that live here, but just serves to further enrich them in an attempt to further divide us.
Mayor Sherelle Parker struck a deal with the Sixers last week, officially announcing the proposal in a community meeting last night. But it's up to 1st District Council member Mark Squilla to introduce the legislation. And right now, he says he hasn't decided if he will.
There's challenges still that we see, but I think there's also opportunity. And I think we need to look at that for both the city as a whole and the surrounding communities that will be impacted by it.
There's now a 30-day comment period on the issue. If Squilla does introduce a resolution for 76ers Place, the earliest he could do so would be October 24th.
And hopefully we'll come to some level of resolve, but also you have 16 other members of City Council who will also be weighing in on this process.
Already weighing in, 2 neighborhoods worried how a new arena will impact them.
You're turning Center City into a place no one wants to be or can even afford to be.
Although Councilmember Squilla has not decided whether he'll introduce the legislation, there is one thing he has decided he won't go along with, and that is the proposal to build housing on top of 76ers Place. He says to residents in Chinatown that just seems like insult to injury. Now, if this legislation is introduced on October 24th, it will still have to go through public hearing. At City Hall, Taronda Thomas, Channel 6 Action News. Brian?
Yeah, the clock is now ticking. Taronda, thank you. Well, the House Task Force investigating the assassination attempts on former President Donald Trump held its first hearing today. The bipartisan group of lawmakers questioned local and federal officials tied to July's shooting in Butler, Pennsylvania. The task force focused on how local police and the Secret Service operate at rallies like that one. A gunman opened fire on the former president from a rooftop fewer than 200 yards from the stage. A bipartisan Senate report on that shooting highlighted failures by the Secret Service that day and called them preventable.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is vowing to use full force against Hezbollah. His comments came as he arrived in New York for the UN General Assembly meeting, dimming hopes for a potential ceasefire. U.S. and European officials are putting pressure on both sides to accept a 21-day halt in fighting to allow time for a potential diplomatic solution. Israel has dramatically escalated strikes targeting Hezbollah in Lebanon over the past week. Hundreds have been killed. Israel says it's in response to Hezbollah's increased cross-border fire triggered by Israel's war in Gaza. Christy.
Well, Sarah, now to the new developments out of New York City. An indictment accuses the city's mayor of receiving more than $10 million in illegal campaign contributions. And just moments after that indictment was unsealed, Mayor Eric Adams said he expected this and strongly denied any wrongdoing.
This did not surprise us that we reached this day. And I ask New Yorkers to wait to hear our defense before making any judgments.
Now, the 64-year-old is facing 5 federal charges, including wire fraud, bribery, and soliciting illegal foreign campaign donations. In the 57-page indictment, it is a result of an investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Prosecutors say the alleged scheme began when Adams was a top elected official in Brooklyn and continued after he became mayor. Now, he is accused of seeking and accepting luxury international travel from a wealthy businessman and at least one Turkish government official for nearly a decade. Court records reveal some of those gifts included free international first-class flights and stays at opulent hotel rooms in foreign cities.
Adams knew that these wealthy individuals could not legally donate in a U.S. election. Federal law clearly prohibits foreign donations. That's how we protect our elections from foreign influence.
And so this resignation comes after multiple New York City officials, including the head of the public school system in New York City, the police commissioner, and the health commissioner. Now Adams is facing calls to resign himself. Guys?
Yeah, that indictment incredibly detailed today. Christy, thank you. It is time once again for a check on that AccuWeather forecast as we're still stuck under some heavy clouds.
Yeah, some of you may be seeing some rain right now, but we're also tracking what's happening down in Florida. Meteorologist Adam Joseph over in the Weather Center with all the details. Adam.
And the muggies. Have you felt it out there today? Yeah. It's like soupy, heavy atmosphere, and that's fueling some of the showers. So we'll go over and take a look at Storm Tracker 6 live. What I love about this new set, I'm going to get exercise walking around here all the time. Showing some showers that have developed right in the eastern part of Chester County on the border of Delaware County. Also a few out in Lancaster County near our Lancaster radar that's scanning the skies live. But look at these downpours that have popped up near Tredyffrin and Easttown Township, working its way all the way down Route 1 towards Oxford. These will be lifting up into Montgomery County, the northeast extension, as you go away from the Schuylkill Expressway, as well as 202. So some gardens getting some good water, and we need it. In fact, we finally picked some up in the rain gauge here over the last 12 hours and 24 hours. Pottstown nearing 1/4 of an inch of rain. Phoenixville just under 1/4, over 1/2 inch in Spring City. Coatesville 1/2 inch. Oxford near 4/10 of an inch, and Westchester coming in just under 2/10 of an inch of rainfall. Temperatures, it is warm despite that we have all of that cloud cover. 80 in the city of Philadelphia, Middletown, 77 in Millville, mid-70s at the shore, 73 degrees in Allentown, and it's that southeasterly wind that is bringing in that muggy air. In fact, tropical feeling, and a lot of that is all the way down from the Gulf where we do have Helene. The dew point 77 in Jacksonville, 73 in Richmond, near 70 here in Philadelphia. The drier air is back to the west, and it's going to be a few days before we can kind of funnel in some of that drier air. But nasty weather, not only is Helene eyeing Florida, and a lot of people are talking about Florida, we have to think about our friends in South Carolina, Georgia as well. They're under tornado watches at this hour on the eastern side of that storm. In addition to that, there's going to be catastrophic landslides in the Appalachian Mountains in and around South Carolina as well as northern Georgia. For us tomorrow, 77 degrees, very humid once again. There will be some scattered showers around throughout the day. It's not raining the entire day, but damp at times. Future tracker 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Notice the clouds, they are in play. And then as we go into the afternoon and overnight, that's when a band of some showers and downpours could come through. This is kind of a northern band from Helene, which will be all the way out in the Tennessee Valley by that point tomorrow night. So breaking it down for us at home, cloudy, humid tomorrow, some scattered showers with the heaviest coming in overnight. Then for Saturday and Sunday, a lot of low clouds both days. There could be some breaks of sun late morning and the afternoon, Saturday and Sunday, but there'll also be a few spotty showers at time, but the weekend is not a washout. Your exclusive AccuWeather 70 forecast, 77 the next 2 days. Clouds, on and off showers tomorrow. A morning shower Saturday, then cloudy in the afternoon, maybe get a little brightening here and there. Sunday the same, cloudy, some brightening to the sky in the afternoon with an isolated shower. 74. Mostly cloudy on Monday, 72 degrees, and then another system rides through on Tuesday with periods of rain of 70. Cloudy again Wednesday. Yes, let's get out of this. It's going to take a week. Finally sunny next Thursday. That's when it's fully going to take over with that blue sky and a temperature of 73 degrees. Much more on Helene and our local forecast. Brian and Sarah coming up in a little bit.
Going to have to get you one of those watches to track your steps over there.
I love it.
Very good. Hey, listen, some good news on Wall Street here today. Positive economic data bolstering the markets across the board today. The Dow rising 260 points. The Nasdaq up 108 and change here today. The S&P 500 new record territory today, adding 23 points the day. Well, Southwest Airlines gave an update today on its plans to step away from an open seating model. Passengers will be able to book a reserved seat for the first time, either late next year or early 2026. The airline has had open seating since it was first founded in 1966. Southwest is also reconfiguring its planes to offer premium seating for the very first time. A mobile wellness unit offered health services to seniors in Center City this morning. Action News at the Riverside Presbyterian Apartments. Healthcare providers were on hand to offer blood pressure and BMI screenings as well as immunizations. The trailer will travel to 9 medically underserved communities across our region this week. Walmart partnered with Human Good to offer this care. Well, a local nonprofit is helping those in need fill their closets for fall. The Wardrobe hosted Open Wardrobe in Old City for parents and caregivers. Racks were stacked with a variety of clothing and accessories, all of this free. The organization also hosted similar events today at its Upper Darby, Canada Square, and Exton locations.
More than 1 million diapers were shipped out today as part of an effort by Cradles to Crayons and diaper maker First Quality. The action cam at the Cradles to Crayons Giving Factory in East Falls for Diaper Distribution Day. The diapers will be distributed to more than 180 local organizations to be handed out to families in need. Next at 4, their cookies are sweet, salty, and a little bit nuts, but their TikTok videos are what are really wild. See these videos from Nutter Butter that are freaking out folks online, but people say it's all part of a smart marketing plan.
All right, I'm in, but first, the fall vaccine guidance. With the new season upon us, we're looking into what doctors are saying about COVID and flu shots.
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, now continues.
Hello again, 4:30 now, and Action News continues with a new benefit. Decision-making skills.
I believe that. Plus, quick to the rescue, never-before-seen body cam of local officers turning a near-death tragedy into a life-saving heroic moment. Details on the timely tourniquet and the race to save a life.
And facing the judge, the Idaho College murder suspect inside a new courtroom right now. Details on the debate over his clothing for the upcoming trial.
But we begin this half hour with fall vaccine guidelines. As we head into a new season, people may be thinking about getting their COVID and flu shots.
People have a lot of questions about this. Also starting today, you can once again order free COVID tests from the government. Our Nydia Hahn joining us here live in studio right now with what we all need to know about this. Hey, Nydia.
Yeah, guys, according to our data journalist, COVID levels in the tri-state area are very high and rising in South Jersey. So health experts are recommending we protect ourselves and our community once again by getting the booster and by testing.
Every other person comes in, either had it or knows someone that's had it.
The booster for the new COVID variant is available, and health experts say the time to get it is now and at least within the next couple weeks.
Because it takes a couple of weeks to fortify and get all the soldiers working.
Big chains as well as independent pharmacies like Parkway Pharmacy have both Moderna and Pfizer.
We have plenty of stock. There's been no issues.
But many Americans are not rolling up their sleeves. In Philadelphia, fewer than 25% got the last booster.
A lot of people have let their guard down. They're not getting the booster anymore. What do you recommend?
They should be getting the boosters. We should be, because it lessens your chances of getting it initially. And it lessens your chances of getting very sick. And there's beginning to be good data that people do not get long COVID, which has been a real problem for a lot of people. It's been a very devastating illness.
If you've just had COVID, health experts say wait 3 months before getting the booster. But Dr. Ron Gorin says it is fine to get the COVID, flu, and even RSV shots all at once.
There's no risk of doing it together. You might get a sore arm, but that's nothing to be worried about.
Meantime, the government is now offering free COVID tests once again. The Food and Drug Administration estimates at-home tests will detect the virus at least 80% of the time, and the kits will pick up the newest variants. And be aware, the FDA has extended the expiration dates for many at-home tests, so check the lot number against the FDA list. Now, to get the free COVID test, you can call 1-800-232-0233 or fill out a quick tests. Check with your school, library, and local health department. Some private insurance companies also cover the cost. Back to you guys.
All right, all good to know, Nydia. Thank you. Happening right now, the Poconos native accused in the Idaho College murders is inside a courtroom. This is Brian Kohlberger's first hearing since his case was moved to Boise. The trial was moved over jury impartiality concerns back in Moscow. On the docket today is the newest argument by the defense to have the death penalty thrown out in this case. They've also requested that Kohlberger not have to wear an inmate orange jumpsuit at any upcoming hearing. His team thinks that it could impact the mindset of potential jurors who may live stream the hearings. Kohlberger is accused of killing 4 students in 2022. That trial set to begin in June of next year. Christy?
Well, Brian, turning now to our series, Heroes on the Front Line. A landscaping job turned into a near-death experience. The victim attempting to clear debris in a backyard found his legs severed by a wood chipper. And when time was ticking, 2 fast-acting Darby Borough police officers stepped in with a life-saving tourniquet.
It was a race to save a life hanging on by a limb. Police say a gentleman was working in a backyard in Darby Borough to clear some debris from the front of a stump grinder when a piece of his clothing got sucked into the machine.
As I arrived on scene, I was flagged down by a few workers. He's in the back. Yo, boss.
Out of respect for the victim, we blurred his face. Body cam footage shows the tense and chaotic moments as Darby Borough patrolman Terrell Lee and Shane McCoy worked to stop him from bleeding out.
Did you think that it was going to be as bad as it appeared when you got on scene?
No, not initially. I thought it was going to be, cut himself but, as I turned the corner and I seen his leg, I was like, ah.
We realized that time was of the essence, and given the severity of the injury, so we both knew that we needed to move quickly and start applying some life-saving measures such as a tourniquet prior to the ambulance and medics getting there.
Next 47 car, if you got gloves, I'm gonna need them. Try to put a tourniquet on.
Bleeding stopped right after you did the tourniquet?
Seemed to me at least that it definitely slowed.
Yeah, he was conscious and alert the whole time. Unfortunately, he didn't speak any English, but you could tell he was in pain and he was, in shock.
The language barrier adding another challenge for the French-speaking victim and the officers.
My man,
Wani, just say your name. He speaks French, though. He can't speak English.
I'm just trying to explain to this gentleman, what we were doing. I was just trying to communicate with him, let him know, hey, listen, we got you.
In July, the town's mayor and council president honored both officers with an award. The victim lost a limb. His life saved.
The trauma surgeons basically told me whoever put this tourniquet on saved his life because he wouldn't have made it.
Police are a profession where we have to kind of wear many hats at times, and it's all part of what we all signed up to do.
Now, both officers say that day was just another shift, but it was a shift where they saved yet another man's life. Now, if you know any first responder who has gone above and beyond while on the call of duty, be sure to let us know. And you can head to our website, 6abc.com/heroes. Sarah.
Yeah, so glad you can highlight their heroism. Christy, thank you. A fire has damaged a popular playground in Newcastle County, closing it indefinitely. It happened Monday night here at Brookhaven Park in Newark, Delaware. Heat. Police are asking anyone with information about this incident to contact them.
Well, Philadelphia City Council introduced a bill today that, if passed, would crack down on rental price fixing by landlords. Our Troubleshooters team told you about this yesterday. Renters United joined members of City Council outside City Hall for a rally. The legislation targets RealPage, a software management company accused of using algorithms to help landlords collectively raise rents. It's been sued by the Department of Justice. A similar ban already passed in the city of San Francisco.
Well, let's get another check on the AccuWeather forecast. I think Adam just said he's getting some rain at his house.
He was very happy about how hard it was raining over his home right now. Adam? There he is.
All
He's
right.
getting his steps in.
Wrong position, but we got to go with it here, right? I guess, guys. All right, we do have Sky 6 live over Center City right now that is seeing quite a bit of cloud cover out there. And with that cloud cover, temperatures are still warm, despite that we don't have much in the way of sunshine. 80 degrees. Dew point is up near 70 degrees, so it is humid with that south wind at 7 miles an hour. And at theshore.com camera, 73 with the ocean of 72. Winds out of the south-southeast off of the water at 4 miles an hour. And yes, heavy downpours in lower parts of Montgomery County along the Pennsylvania Turnpike, as well as 422 right on the border of Chester and Delaware County near Devon and Berwyn and Paoli, heading into Wayne, part of the main line, and it extends all the way back to near and north of New Garden Township and lower parts of Chester County. Bigger picture here. The rain from the northern extent of Helene, that is way down to the south and west. This is just because of that higher humidity today with that southeasterly wind that's sparking some of these scattered downpours and showers. So Lehigh Valley tomorrow, 70 degrees, lots of clouds, a spotty shower here or there. For the Philadelphia metro area, 71 in the morning, low 70s in the afternoon, and the Jersey Shore, temperatures in the lower 70s, and again, a chance of a few showers as we progress throughout the day. The weekend, not a washout, but it's not perfect either. We'll chat about that, guys, coming up in that full AccuWeather 70 forecast.
All right, Adam, you got it. Thank you. Volunteers spent most of their day cleaning up the city of Camden. Habitat for Humanity of South Central New Jersey teamed up with Wells Fargo to host an event called Rock the Block. They made it fun by throwing a block party. The goal of this event is to revitalize Lanning Square. This was part of Wells Fargo's national month-long initiative to clean up and repair neighborhoods across the county. Well, next here at Ford, dancing cookies and distorted voices.
In a land where peanut plants, in a land where peanut plants, cookie do the nutty dance.
In Big Talker, Nutter Butter videos are freaking the internet out. We take a bite into the method behind what appears to be marketing madness.
Madness is a good word, plus representing his culture and heritage. We meet a Lehigh Valley native set to compete in a unique kayaking championship for Team Puerto Rico.
Well, time now for Big Talkers. Remember Nutter Butters, the cookie shaped like a peanut? Sweet, salty, and nutty. Well, the cookie's own TikTok account is just plain nuts. So nuts, it has people asking, are you okay?
Nutter Butter, are you guys okay?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so it's not unusual for brands to adopt an edgy approach, but Nutter Butter's marketing strategy is so unhinged. You can understand why people are asking, is Nutter Butter okay? The content is surreal, like a bad fever dream, with each post wilder than the next. Distorted voices, creepy retro commercial footage, dystopian imagery. People are just discovering Nutter Butter's wild social media posts, but the brand has been committed, dedicated to this cryptic strategy for well over a year. You may find it disturbing, but the posts are paying off with millions of views. And people talking about Nutter Butter cookies in ways they haven't in years. The social media group behind the campaign said they made it clear this is all on purpose. They're making a direct pitch to Gen Alpha, the generation raised in front of an iPad. It seems only really bizarre, random things are getting their attention. Other brands are paying attention and looking for ways to get weird, like Nutter Butter.
I mean, I guess in theory it's a smart idea. They got to get attention somehow.
Well, this apparently to these the youngest people, consumers, they like really weird, and it gets their attention, and they share it, and they probably had never had a Nutter Butter cookie, and now it's a hot thing.
My kids love Nutter Butters, and so does this grown-up.
We'll get you some, Brian.
Thank you for that, Sarah. Well, now to an old saying that an increasing body of evidence suggests is much more than just a saying. If you have a major decision to make, or even one that could be considered minor, you might not want to go with your gut. You may actually want to sleep on it. Researchers at Duke University set out to conduct a series of experiments that, in the end, they say challenge conventional wisdom on this. Participants were asked to rummage through what they call digital boxes filled with household items of varying value. Now, as for their initial impressions right away, people consistently favored the boxes with high-valued items on top. But given a day's delay, the story changed dramatically. participants overwhelmingly choosing different boxes where high-value items were mixed in, buried within. Now, researchers note that the 24-hour delay gave people more time to make rational choices, ultimately better ones. That, they say, suggests our brains are hardwired to process memories and rewards over time, leading to more balanced decision-making. The implications, they say, are wide-ranging, from how an employer might perceive prospective employees to how you might rate an experience right after you experience it versus one day later. Bottom line, what your gut tells you does matter, but when possible, give your brain a day to weigh the options, because science shows you might make a better decision in the end.
I'm not a good decision maker.
Even one day later?
No.
Do you trust your gut?
I should just trust my gut, but I'm a Gemini, so I see both sides of everything. Yeah, but I guess so. Now this is good advice. I'll sleep on it, and maybe I'll have a better perspective in the morning.
I think you make fine decisions.
On some things. I make good decisions for other people, just not for myself. Let's get a check on the roads tonight.
Come to think of it, you do make a number of decisions for me on a daily basis. Jessica Boynton live in the traffic center.
What do you need, Jess? What can I help you
know
with?
what I just noticed? You're surrounded by Geminis, Brian.
Yeah?
I'm
another
a Pisces.
one.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so just anxiety-ridden.
That's a different deep big talker for another day.
We'll start that tomorrow. It'll be 15 minutes long. We'll talk about it. Guys, let's head out the door right now out in Collingswood. So let's go out to Route 130 and on the southbound side near the White Horse Pike. So there's an accident happening there. There's different reports and they're varying. So right now it looks like 2 lanes are blocked on that southbound side, creating a big mess and delay in both directions, really. But if you're looking southbound, it's really backed up even past this point over here. So we're taking about a 10-minute delay or so behind that, at least what it looks like for now. If you're out on Haddon Ave, so staying in Collings, but we have construction here too. This is a little bit of an ongoing project, and we have a closure though on Haddon Ave, both directions between Collings Ave and Irvin Avenue. If you're out the door on the Vine Street Expressway, though, shouldn't be the worst trip of your life. But right now, near 16th Street, showing east-west, is definitely a little slower because I definitely see some tap on the brakes and some stopping back and forth on the east and westbound side. And unrelated to any accidents, we don't have any right now, so that's at least good. If you're out the door on the Blue Route near Route 1, both directions just showing heavy volume, north, south, but again, looking okay and pretty typical. Same goes for the Schuylkill Expressway. Everyone's pretty much out driving their cars right now. So right near Conshohocken in both directions, east or west, we're definitely seeing some slowdowns there too. Drive times still basic. Now earlier this week, we saw crazy drive times on the eastbound Schuylkill pretty much all week long. This is back to normal, I would say. 39 minutes right now on the eastbound side of 76 from the Blue Route to the Vine Street Expressway in Center City, but just a lot of volume pretty much everywhere. Brian and Sarah, back over to you guys.
Okay, Jess, thank you.
We've got another check on that AccuWeather forecast coming up next.
Big Talkers is sponsored by your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires.
All eyes on the Gulf of Mexico right now as this already potentially historic hurricane makes its way toward the coast.
Yeah, we've been listening over in the Weather Center. Sounds like our team's getting some new information. Meteorologist Adam Joseph joining us from the Weather Center with the details. Adam.
Yeah, the National Hurricane Center bringing in some new information. This storm is over the Gulf Stream waters. It's like bathwater. It's what is the engine that feeds this storm. You clearly see the eye. The wind's now sustained at 125 miles an hour. A Category 4 hurricane is winds of 130 miles an hour. And more than likely, they're saying it is going to be a Category 4 when it makes landfall somewhere in the Big Bend of Florida between Apalachicola and north of Tampa as that Cat 4 between 10 o'clock tonight and midnight. On the north and northeast side of this hurricane, you get counterclockwise winds. That helps spin up tornadoes in the atmosphere. So it's not just Florida, which is the entire state under the gun. It's southern Georgia, southeastern Georgia, and also South Carolina that it has the potential of some destructive tornadoes as the system continues to lift and reach land. In addition to that, inland flooding is going to be catastrophic. It is on the top end of the increased scale here along the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina, South Carolina, and all of Georgia, including Atlanta down to Columbus and to Panama City and Tallahassee. When you get the higher terrain, they're going to be dealing with mudslides with locally up to 20 inches of rain in addition to the strong winds. Locally here, we are dealing with some water coming from the sky in spots, and this is much welcome. We've had an exceptional, or I should say really moderate drought at this point in this region in the northwestern suburbs. So these downpours and showers hitting areas that desperately need the rain. It's the split of the Schuylkill Expressway, the Blue Route, both south and as you go northbound towards the toll plaza at Plymouth Meeting as you head up toward the northeast extension. In the city, it's dry right now, 80 degrees, but that dew point is very muggy, so it feels more like 83, a very tropical-like atmosphere outside, and that's not going to change tomorrow. Tonight, the forecast muggy with some of those lingering showers and downpours. Lows will be in the upper 60s from the shore, Philadelphia, low to mid 60s north and west. Front squeezes over us during the day tomorrow. It stays cloudy and humid with Helene's remnants going back into the Tennessee Valley. That low will continue to stay far to our west, but we'll have a spotty shower. Lots of clouds on Saturday. There could be some brightening to the sky with a high temperature of 77 degrees. And cloud cover is going to be our friend, so we can't get rid of it, unfortunately, here. 100% to 90% over the next 5 days. It's not to the end of next week that we will finally break back out into full sunshine. But we don't get any brutal or really big effects from Helene, thankfully. The exclusive AccuWeather 70 forecast, 77 the next 2 days, lots of clouds, a spotty shower around. Same thing for Sunday. Again, not a washout any of the next 3 days. 70 by Sunday. Monday, mostly cloudy, 72. Periods of rain on Tuesday, 70 degrees. And then it finally brightens up as we go deeper into next week on Thursday with temperatures at 73 degrees. So we'll continue to watch Helene as Helene has the remnant low pushing into the Tennessee Valley, but thankfully it is not going to come through here with any big fanfare.
Astounding to think that it could be a Cat 4 by the time
it's scary. No matter, the storm surge is the biggest thing for that big bend of Florida.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep an eye on it tonight. Adam, thank you.
More Action News after this break.
Finally at 4, sponsored by Patriot Home Care. We carefully connect each caregiver and patient for the perfect match, so you can stay in the home you love. You and Patriot, together we find a way.
Finally at 4 today, for one Lehigh Valley man, fishing is not only his favorite hobby, it's in his blood. Jay Valentin will be representing his Puerto Rican heritage at this weekend's Pan American Kayak Fishing Tournament.
Action News photojournalist Todd Haas takes us to Leaser Lake for this story.
People underplay how important a hobby is. And for some people, they find it in kayak fishing. This was actually the lake that I came to the very first time I got on this kayak, which was the first time I ever got on a fishing kayak, was right here. Fishing's the only thing I know of that I can do, have a really, really bad day at, and then still want to come back tomorrow and do the same thing. My grandfather was a deep sea fisherman in Puerto Rico. Did it to put food on the table. It wasn't really like a fun thing, but he loved it. He had a passion for it. The big event we have coming up is the Pan American Kayak Fishing Championship, and I'm really honored to represent Team Puerto Rico. Going out there, Team Puerto Rico has 9 anglers competing against 11 countries in total that'll be out there, from the Philippines, Canada, USA. It's just taking something that we've done traditionally as a people, and now we're bringing it into competition. What really drives me is teaching people to how to kayak fish, how to get comfortable kayak fishing, because it can get overwhelming. What's up, guys? It's Jay with Bearded Dad Fishing. I started the channel just for the joy of fishing and to share that with people, but then it started forming into, but get yourself a good net. I'm actually helping people get comfortable on the water. Rubber-coated nets. It goes up to 4 feet, pretty far back, so this should be accessible for everyone. And it really is. It's just a matter of knowing where to find that information and what to get. So my hope is obviously that we win, but overall, I want to represent Puerto Rico well, and I want to represent the Lehigh Valley well while I'm out there.
Love fishing. That was Todd Haas reporting. Action News is sharing your story, your voice, your community through the eyes of our talented community journalists and photographers. Share your ideas online at 6abc.com/yourstory. That's it for Action News at 4. Now for Brian Taft, Christy Aletto, and Adam Joseph, I'm Sarah Bloomquist.
I'll see you back here at 6 o'clock tonight from our brand new home. Action News at 5 is coming up next.
Now you can listen to Philadelphia's #1 news. Get breaking news and your AccuWeather forecast. Follow 6ABC Philadelphia Action News wherever you get your podcasts.